Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Bold Like Esther Week 2. If you are joining me, thank you. If you were here last week, welcome back. We are in week 2, y'all, day 8. And I hope you all are following the daily bold moves. If you're not getting any of these notifications, make sure you're tapped in. Make sure you are first subscribed to this channel and then click the link on our Mastery Mompreneurs page so that way you can be notified every step of the way through this challenge. Thank y'all so much, y'all. It has been an amazing week. It has been an amazing week, and I am so excited about talking about chapters 3 and chapter 4. Y'all, I can't wait to get into this. I can't wait to get into this. But again, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to this live. Share it with your friend, your mama, your cousin, your auntie, anyone who can benefit from this, basically. Anyone, any mom, any woman, or a man, right? Because learning about the Bible and studying and learning his word and just the stories that's happening, like, it's not limited to just us. Even though this is the mommy channel, we can share God's word with everyone. So let's get right into it. But before we do get into it, I want to go ahead and just talk about where we were last week, right? We left off chapter 2. At the end of that, at the end of chapter 2, Esther had just became queen. She was just selected by King Ahasuerus. Yo, I've been practicing that name. I know I was butchering it last week, but it's Ahasuerus. Ahasuerus. King Ahasuerus. She was just selected by King Ahasuerus to be his new queen after he dethroned Queen Vashti for not following his orders. That's where we left off. And then we are going to pick up in chapter 3 now. But let us do a quick prayer. Lord, Father God, please open our hearts and our minds today. Give us the clarity and the peace and the courage and the discernment that we need as we learn Esther's story. Help us to recognize when it's time to be silent. Help us recognize when it's time to speak up. Help us be humble enough and help us be courageous enough to do so when it is time. I ask that you use me, Lord. Use me to pass any messages that anyone is listening to. Use me to help people to learn, to bring people closer to you, and allow us to learn everything that we're supposed to learn through this story, through these next chapters for today. And in Jesus' name, I do pray. Amen. Amen. All right, so the recap. Yes, so if you didn't read 1 and 2, I encourage you to go back and read 1 and 2 because we are on chapters 3 and 4 of Esther. Welcome in. Welcome in. We are on chapters 3 and 4 of Esther. Now, I was saying King Ahasuerus, he dethroned Queen Vashti and picked his new queen, which was Queen Esther. Well, she wasn't a queen when she was picked, but which was Esther. Now, Esther was this Jewish woman. She was not born from money. She was raised by her cousin Mordecai. She was an orphan. And Mordecai convinced his cousin to go to this event that the king was having to select his new queen. She didn't know why. And honestly, Mordecai didn't know why at the time. But now we're discovering why he told her to go and why he told her to hide her Jewish identity. Why he told her all of this. Like, we're learning how time and events repeat itself. Y'all, I can't tell you in reading chapter 3 and 4 how much it's reflecting and mirroring the events that are happening today in real time. Like, it's mind-blowing. If y'all don't get into your word, get into the Bible, I don't know what else to say. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep stressing it because there are real stories in here, real lessons. We also learned that Mordecai, he overheard a plot that the king's court was planning to kill him, which was how Esther got selected to become queen, because she was loyal and told the king what was going on in his court, and he promoted her to queen. That simple, that easy. All right, so we're going to pick up on chapter 3. We're going to call this session Power, Ego, and Decree. Remember those 3 words as we are learning. And I want someone to put it in the chat if you can. Put the word power, ego, and the decree in the chat right now. It picks up King Ahasuerus. He's promoting one of his officers in his court. He's promoting Haman to a higher position in his court. Did he earn it? I don't know. It doesn't really specify. But it opens up with him promoting this official. Thank you. With him promoting this official to a higher position. That means a lot. Haman plays a big part in chapter 3. So keep in mind the events. And as I reveal to you the events that's happening, just start typing in the chat. What is it mirroring that's going on today in 2026? Okay. Now King Ahasuerus, ego trip. You can imagine how men were back then. Men, not much has changed when it comes to white powerful men, European powerful men. Any men of power, they get this ego. Not much has changed. So when he is promoted, he's expecting everyone in the kingdom to bow down to him, which they do, except for one person. One person. If you can guess who, type it in the chat. One person does not bow down to him. Mordecai. Mordecai does not bow down to Haman. And it's not that Mordecai does not like or want to rebel or has a personal problem with the king or his court. It was all simply because Mordecai is a man of faith. He's a Jewish man. You don't bow to no one else but God. You don't bow to another man. You don't idol someone else. So Mordecai stood strong in his faith and did not bow. Simple as that, right? Simple as that. He did not bow, but because Haman was who he was, because he started to go on an ego trip, because his ego was bruised, his feelings was hurt, he felt the way. And when they feel away, they make everybody feel it. They make the poor people pay. They make the poor people pay. So what did Haman do in response to Mordecai not obeying his orders and bowing down to him? He convinced the king to sign the decree that was going to kill every single Jewish person in the kingdom. All of them. And I learned that it wasn't because he didn't like Jews. It was never any personal vendetta against Jews themselves. This all was solely because his ego was bruised by one Jewish man. But because Mordecai didn't bow, he was going to make all of his people, all of the Jewish people, suffer. That's what he was going to do. Does that sound familiar? Do it sound familiar? Does it sound familiar? When one powerful man ego is bruised, everybody, every poor person, everyone like you gotta suffer now. This is why I say history repeats itself, love. Y'all don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it in some way, shape, or form. Some way, shape, or form. Now, keep in mind that Mordecai and Esther, who's now queen, are related. The kingdom doesn't know that they're related. Mordecai did not disclose this. Esther did not disclose this. And the king and everyone in the court, they don't know that they're related, right? Sounds like a dictator we have. There you go. That's why I said, okay, I was supposed to read this now because it's really happening in real time. And this is why God reminds us that he is real, because it's happening in real time. Come on, you better say it. You better know it. But so they don't know that Mordecai and Esther are related. They don't know any of this. The king doesn't know, his court doesn't know. But meanwhile, you have this Jewish woman that come from a poor background sitting in the palace as the queen, right? Now, let's use the term queen a little lightly, because we all know that women did not have much power back then, even though she had that title. You know, that title may mean something today. It may mean something now. But back then, a queen could also lose her life, officially lose her life, absolutely lose her life if she went against the king for any reason. Remember, he dethroned Vashti for simply not following the command for her to come when he said come. Something that little, right? So just keep all of these things in mind. But they don't know that Esther is Jewish because she hid that the moment she became queen. And at the time we learned that, we didn't know why. But now it's starting to unfold why. So Haman convinced. I'm going to say convinced because later on in the book, we'll see why. But convinced the king to sign a decree, and he did. So he sanctioned all of the Jews to die. All of the Jews to die. And when Esther found this out, when she was made aware of what was going on, she had to find a way to talk to her cousin Mordecai. Now remember, Esther's in this palace. She's protected. She's put away. She has no communication or no contact with her old life, with the people that raised her, which was her cousin Mordecai. But she found a way through a messenger to get communication to him. And this is where she discovers the danger that her people is truly in, right? She discovers this danger. Now, she know what she has to do. She know she has to speak up some kind of way, but does not know how. She could lose her life for trying to stop this order. She could lose her life for going against the commands of the king. She could lose her life, right? She's sitting up in this palace surrounded by all of these people that don't know she's Jewish. And it's like, now what? What next? What do I do next? So what does Esther do? Esther does the only thing that we should always do when we're faced in a situation of adversity and we don't know what to do. Esther goes on a 3-day fast. Esther goes on a 3-day fast. 3 days, 3 nights, no food, no water. Why is the fast important at this time? Why is it important to starve the flesh, deny the flesh at this time? Well, for one, when you're fasting, you can hear God a lot more clear when you're not distracted with a full belly, when you're not comfortable, right? You can hear him so much clearer when you're not at a state where your flesh is at its calm. You can hear him so much more clearly, and you can understand what it takes, the courage that it's going to take to make the next move when you hear that order, when you see it clearly, right? And I see why. I heard Clarissa Shields say she goes on a 6-week no sex before she fights. Why is that? Why is that? Why do you deprive your body of these pleasures before you do something big, make a major decision, or have to have extreme focus? It's the same reason. When your body is too lax, like you don't take it seriously enough, you're comfortable. You're not thinking out of this has to happen. You're not thinking out of the survival. You're not thinking out of that determination, right? You don't have, there's no room to sway your judgment when you hear God, when you're fasting, and when you allow him to truly use you and truly stretch you during that fast. And the longer you fast, the more clear things will be. If you have not done a fast, started a fast, I encourage you to understand the meaning of the fast. Whatever you need to starve your body or your mind from, do it. Do it. And it'll become more extremely clear. All right, so again, some key points. The king doesn't know Esther is Jewish, right? The king doesn't know Mordecai is her cousin. And Haman believes that he has complete control, so he can do everything. His plan to kill the Jews is going to go forward. That's what he has in his mind. But this is where we see how unchecked power can lead to destruction. How unchecked power can lead to destruction. Look at ICE. Look at what's happening in the world today with ICE. That is unchecked power. That is someone having a temper tantrum on a rampage because, first of all, they're not in tune with God and what we're supposed to do for the better of the people. But this is all selfish act according to our own will. It will never end the way we think it's going to end if we think that we're in control. Power and ego will destroy you. If it's not in the here and now, eventually it will. Because guess what? Like Mordecai did, he took a stand in faith and did not bow to those idols. Watch how it turns out for him in the end. I'm not going to spoil it, but watch how it turns out for him in the end. And chapter 4 picks up where Esther is doing her fast. Esther's in her fast. And this is where she finds her voice. This is where she truly finds her voice, and she understands the mission that she was set on. She understands why everything happened the way it happened, understand why she ended up being queen. Like everything started to become full circle because God knew that the Jews were going to be sentenced to death. So he needed to get a woman Jew in there to persuade the king to stop this order. right? But she did not know that she had the power to stop this order. And even in the mission of going to see the king, even in the mission of confronting the king, she was not sure that her plan would work. But what does she do? She goes forward with it anyway. She's obedient and she goes forward with it anyway, right? Because here's the major part about that. When he signed the decree for all Jews to die, Esther wasn't exempt because she was the queen. She was not exempt. That order would have killed her too. So it was like, I better do it or not. Either way, I'm dead anyway. Either way, I'm dead anyway, right? So even if he does kill me, even if he does kill me in approaching him, there's still a chance he may stop the decree. You know, like I have to try something. This is what she sees and discovers in her fast. Her position wasn't protected by her position. Her position didn't protect her fate. She still was going to die, right? And silence was not going to save that. So she had to find her voice. Now, when Esther realizes her positioning wasn't accidental, when she was positioned in chapter 1 and 2, and now she's here, when she understands and when she realizes that her position was not by accident, can you imagine her faith tripling, 10xing? Can you imagine the full circle moments? Like, think about it. Have you ever had a full circle moment where something bad happened in your life and then later on you realize, I needed to go through this? I'm glad I showed up at this spot to meet this one person. If that happened to you, drop it in the chat. Like, let me know. I want to know if that happened to you. This is the same way. And she didn't question any of it. She may doubted it. She may doubted going to the party. She may have self-doubt, but she didn't question it. That is obedience. That is obedience. Going through with something when you don't know the outcome and you still do it anyway. Then it comes full circle, y'all. Y'all can't tell me God is not real. God is not real. You can't tell me that. You can never tell me that. So chapter 4 ends with a saying that she says, and I feel like this was the moment when she really understood what her voice is. She said, if I perish, I perish. If I perish, I perish. I read this part right after, and I shared it on my stories. There was a woman in Baltimore who was arguing with a cop. Well, she wasn't arguing. She was kind of defending herself because he was pulled her over, racially profiling. And she said, if you put your hands on me, you're going to have to murder me. I read this right after I watched that. And can I tell you the connection that finding your voice, meaning standing up for what you believe in, even if it faces the inevitable. Even if it faces the inevitable. Not going against God's word, even if the outcome is not what we expect. Finding your voice and speaking up for yourself can lead to so many things. But you know what? I don't care about what the outcome is. That's finding your voice. Finding your voice. And that's where chapter 4 ends. And we're going to stop chapter 4 right here. And we're going to get into today's lesson. But write in the chat, type yes if you feel like you found your voice. If you feel like you understand your voice right now and you know your voice, just type yes in the chat. Type yes in the chat. Because it's important and it's something that, you know, every woman walking in faith, starting a business, every mom, we are faced with a situation in life where at times we have to be our own advocate, right? We have to be, whether it's in a relationship, if you ever experienced an abusive relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally, right? And there's times where we don't want to speak up because we don't feel like we have that power, or we don't want to stir up the pot, right? It's harboring and hindering us more so than we think. We're shrinking more so than we think because we don't want to speak up. So in this live today, we are going to talk about, and I'm going to tell you 10 ways we can begin to start to find our voice. What do we need to do to start to find our voice? If y'all ready, somebody put ready in the chat. Somebody drop ready in the chat, and then I hope you got your notebooks And if you haven't done so already, make sure you join Mastery Mompreneur. You can click the link in the description box on this channel, or I'll also drop it here. So that way you can claim your free 3-day trial to our community. Y'all, we're growing, we're building, and we're moms on a mission. So claim your free 3 days and come and see if you like it, how you like it. And if you want to stay, you are more than welcome to stay. But yes, let's get into it. Today, we are going over the 10 things we need to do in order to find our voice. And number one is you have to acknowledge where you are silent. Where in your life are you silent at before you can even find your voice? You have to be honest about where you are, what you've been holding on to, what you've been holding back on purpose, right? Or maybe it's not on purpose, but where have you been shrinking in your life? What areas? Is it, are you supposed to be speaking up at your job? And when I say speak up, don't get me wrong, I do not mean combativeness. I don't mean intentionally ready to tussle, argue. No, that's not what we're doing. We're women of the kingdom here, okay? We are going to represent God in every way possible. But standing up for yourself does not always mean confrontation, right? Some people can't correlate that, but we know what our intention is. But so where have you been shrinking, right? There is at least one area in your life where you already know that you're quiet, and it's just time to own it, understand it, right? Be aware of it, acknowledge it, all of those things, right? Because staying safer, you stay there because you feel like it's a safe place for you, because it's a comfort zone. But it's time to get uncomfortable. Finding your voice doesn't start with speaking. It starts with honesty, being honest with yourself. Where do I need to grow more? If y'all with me, say with me. If y'all with me, say with me. Number two, and if any of these resonate with you, just drop in the chat which ones. I want to hear you right now. Today is your challenge to be bold. Today is your challenge to step into it right now. So I want to hear you. If I say something that resonates with you, go ahead and put it in the chat. This is a safe space. You got ladies in here that's going to big you up and support you. So go ahead and drop it in the chat. Number two, you got to stop explaining yourself. You have to stop explaining yourself. And here's what I mean by that. I don't mean add context when it's necessary. But what I mean is that one of the biggest ways to give your power away is by over-explaining. We over-explain our reasons for doing everything. We give explanation every single time you feel the need to justify your decision. Every single time you feel the need to explain yourself, you're teaching people to question your authority. Don't question me, boo. Don't question me, boo. Somebody put in the chat, don't question me, boo. Kitty boo boo. Don't question me. Period. Period. You don't need to explain your reasoning behind. Sometimes it's just simply no. Sometimes it's just simply I said what I said. And it's not, again, in a malicious or a bad way. But again, if you don't set that, you're teaching people to question your authority, right? You're teaching people. You don't need a speech. You don't need to announce it. You don't need a reason that makes sense to everyone. As long as you have the clarity behind where you stand, it's all good. Your voice gets stronger when you stop defending it. And I had to learn that the hard way. It gets stronger the moment you stop defending it. If you are resonating with number two right now, drop number two in the chat. Number three. Oh gosh. Ooh, this is a trigger for me. This is a trigger for me because this was one that I recently learning how to regulate your emotions. Have anyone ever said to you, that angry Black woman, she got this angry Black woman. She's an angry Black woman. Why are you so angry? The moment we start to assert ourselves, the moment we start to speak directly, the moment the smile isn't there, and I'm simply being direct because I don't want any miscommunication, I become an angry Black woman. Why do y'all think that is? Why do you think that is? We tend to speak with a lot of passion. Well, I know I do, right? And I've learned to be aware of when my pitch elevates, right? I've learned to be aware when I get louder. The kids, my babies, they are the mirror for me. Why do I say that? Because the moment I feel passionate about something, if the kitchen's not clean, I'm like, Dad, I'm calling them. I'm not angry, but how they're receiving it, they're hearing, oh, Mom, why are you so mad? And I'll look, I say, you think I'm mad? Oof. And then I can really see how they would see that, right? Because it's the emotion that I'm putting behind it. They miss the message because all they hear is that emotion. They miss the message because all they hear is that emotion, which is why we have to learn how to regulate our emotions when we're trying to convey something. Because what you're trying to convey will get missed if all we hear is emotion. If Esther would have went into the king hooping and hollering, yes, hooping and hollering, he would have said off with her head. He would have said, be gone. Be gone. Bye, girl. He would have said it, right? He wouldn't have heard the severity of the situation if she did not go in there calmly and ready to tell him and assert her authority, right? And if she had not fasted to help regulate her emotions. That's the key. Somebody say that's the key. Drop the key emoji if you can. That's the key right there. If she had not fasted to regulate her emotions, to hear God, she would have went in there like the angry black woman, but she not black, she was Jewish. But she would have went in there all hysterical. She would have went in there all crazy, and that king would have like, baby, I ain't got time for this. Away with this woman. Off with her head. Ain't that what they said? Right? So finding your voice means learning how to stay grounded while you speak, while you're speaking, right? We're not going to cry through it. We're not going to yell through it, and we're not going to shut down, but we're going to understand how to regulate our emotions. And this is what we must do if we want to find our voice. Having a voice means nothing if no one can hear what you're saying. It means absolutely nothing. Number 4, accepting being misunderstood. Ooh, now these are for the moms. These are for the women who feel like they always gotta fit in. They always gotta have something in common with somebody. Somebody always gotta understand them. But guess what? Reality shows and has proven time and time again that you can't please everybody. Everyone's not going to agree with you. Everyone's not going to like what you say. Everyone's not going to want to hear what you say. People will misunderstand with you, but you have to accept the fact that that's going to happen. You don't have to accept what they're saying. You don't have to bow down to what they're saying, but just accept the fact that they're not going to agree with you and keep moving. I call it a filtering process, and I appreciate that because the moment I'm able to filter out the people that misunderstand me, right? I'm still going to teach and preach and do everything I got to do. But the people that don't understand me, that don't want to learn to understand, I don't have time for them. It's just another distraction that the enemy is going to send to throw you off of your mission. So accept when people misunderstand you. Accept when people misunderstand you. And most people stay silent because they want to be liked. Do you stay silent because you want to be liked? Or do you stay silent because you don't want people to get you confused, or you don't want the conflict, the confrontation? Is it easy for you, or is it hard for you to have the hard conversations? Is that why we stay silent? If that's one of the reasons, then go back to number 1 and acknowledge that. Acknowledge that. I have a hard time confronting hard conversations. I have a hard time expressing myself because I don't want to rock the boat. Well, baby, sometimes the boat need to be rocked. What K. Michelle said in Love and Hip Hop, somebody shaking the table. I'm going to be a table shaker sometime because people will not take you seriously. This is why people think religion is a joke, or your religion is a joke, or your connection or walk with God is a joke, because people don't take it serious enough. They don't take it serious enough because we want to appease everyone. Listen, I'm a Christian. I am. But I'm also going to tell you what you need to hear. When you need to hear, everything isn't always going to sound, so Christ-like. I'm not going to disrespect you, but I may come off as not Christ-like at the time with me telling you like it is, right? That just is what it is, and it's okay. Maybe God is sending you to teach that lesson to somebody else. You got to think about those things. So don't be afraid to be misunderstood. And if that's where you're shrinking, then go back to number 1 and put that on your list of being aware of where your shortcomings are, where your shrinking is. Number 5, if y'all still with me, say, hey, Tammy, I'm here. Say, here, Tammy. Say, I'm here, girl. Whatever it is, just let me know you're still here with me. You have to learn that setting boundaries is a key part of it as well. Setting boundaries is a key part of finding your voice, because It's the things that you tolerate. It's the things that you allow. It's the things that you don't say no to that will keep you in hiding, right? So set the boundary, set the standard, and stick to it and abide by it. If you don't set boundary, your voice will disappear. It's going to disappear, not just in the workplace, not just in your business, but even in your own home. Even in your own home. If there's a situation going on in your home that you're not happy with, well, you have to look at the boundary that you set when it first started happening. When it first started happening, did I set the tone then? And if we didn't, then we got to have that hard conversation. We have to change some things. The kids may not like me changing the rules because mom was always letting them get away with stuff. Well, I don't like it, so now I have to change it. And it will hurt, but that's your test to be strong and see through it, to find your voice, and it's their test to learn, right? And not just with the kids, it could be with anything, your friends, it could be with your employer, it could be with whomever. It could be with yourself. What boundary are you setting for yourself? Are you standing up to yourself when you know you talk yourself out of stuff? Think about it. Think about it. Boundaries protect your voice. And I need all this. I need all of it. Number 6. I said 2. We're on 6. Number 6, you have to understand that silence will not protect you. The same way Esther had to realize by her being quiet about the situation, it wouldn't protect her, because if she don't say nothing and they kill all of her people, the moment they find out she's a Jewish, she's gonna die too. It was nothing to replace a queen back then, baby. You are replaceable. You are replaceable. The king said, you must not know about me, because I will have another you. And they have proven it time and time again. But she still did it anyway. She did not stay silent because that was not going to protect her. So that thrusted her further in to her assignment of why she had to be the one, because she was in position. She was in the palace. She was the queen, right? Not speaking does not prevent the consequences. It only delays them. The longer you don't speak up, the bigger the problem becomes, right? The longer you don't speak up, the more it's like keeping that lie going, right? The more you don't face the fact, I would rather face the fact dead on in the beginning. I would rather face it as soon as possible, because I don't want to carry all of that stress. I don't want to carry the anxiety. Like I don't want to develop all of these spirits that God has stripped me from. It's not fun. It's pressure. It will make you go crazy. So finding your voice has a lot to do with your sanity and you being sane. It has a lot to do with that. Your voice is not your risk. You're not taking a risk by finding your voice. It's not risky. But not finding your voice is. There's too much on the line if you don't find your voice. Number 7, you got to sit with discomfort. You got to sit with discomfort after you speak up. Now, this is where the awkward moment comes. This is where the true test comes. After you say something, after you make your position known, after you put your foot down, after you have the hard conversation, not knowing the outcome, sitting in that moment of discomfort. Have you ever been, if this is you, say me, if you've ever been in a situation where you're having a conversation and you may have to tell someone that what they did wasn't appropriate, or you may have to confess something that you did, that awkward silence right after it, that feeling you get in your body, that nervousness that you just want to run and go hide, like you have to sit in that discomfort. Why is it important that we sit in that? Because it's going to build confidence for you. It's going to build confidence for you to not shrink the next time. You have to get to a place where you don't care what anybody think about you. You have to get to a place where you're not ashamed of your story. You have to get to a place where you're willing to face the things you don't like about yourself enough to talk about it. Why? Because it's not for you. It's not for you. God has you in this discomfort place to feel it, to build up the courage and the confidence to talk about it, to help his people. To help his people. Y'all, our assignments are not for us. It's not just about making money. It's not just about growing wealth. Those are the blessings and the benefits we get by seeking the kingdom first. But the first reward is doing the work of the kingdom. helping somebody. You know you just saved somebody's life out of poverty, out of jumping off the deep end, out of committing the S word, ending their lives. But it gets that deep for the people that feel that pain enough, that feels like there's no way out of it. I've met women like that, so I know. I know how powerful a testimony can be to somebody else when the people that are assigned to you, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter if you're writing books. It doesn't matter if you're a child caregiver. It doesn't matter if you're a teacher. Whatever it is, you still have people assigned to you, and they're assigned to you because of your story. But if you're ashamed to face the discomfort that you're going to feel, if you're ashamed of that, you can't fulfill your assignment. You make the decision. You made a decision. You can't fulfill that assignment. And what's going to happen? God is still going to place you in those situations. Now it's going to take longer. Now, what did you do? You rerouted your assignment and you rerouted their outcome because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Does that make sense? If I'm making sense, y'all tell me I'm making sense, because I got to make sense to somebody besides myself. I got to make sense to somebody besides myself. But I am telling this because I live it. I live it. The moment I became a mentor, the moment I took this coaching thing serious, the moment I started the podcast, the moment I started helping women, even before the Mompreneur Huddle, even before Mastery Mompreneurs, when I'm helping women and teaching women, when I was a publisher, I was meeting people that was exactly like me. How am I looking at all of these mirrors? How? Because we are attached to people that's going through the similar things. And the reason we're able to help them through it because we've already had our breakthrough. And we can be a support and we can sympathize and we know. And we're going to help them remember and never forget how powerful God's grace is and his love, and how he can bring us through. So you have to sit with that discomfort to build the confidence and the courage to talk about the hard things. And baby, you're going to be teaching other people that it is okay to talk about hard things. It is okay that we mess up. We're not perfect. We all mess up. We all have a history. We all have a past. But guess what? When God pull you through it, you has best to be obedient. You best to be obedient and not keep it for yourself, because that's the way. That is the way. Number 8, we're almost done, y'all. We are almost done our list. Number 8. You have to be willing to disrupt the comfort of someone else. That's the key. Now, again, we never want to do things that's going to intentionally hurt someone. But if you know someone is wrong or going down the wrong path, just like these files that are being released, it has nothing to do with left side, right side, but there were women who knew, wives of these men, who knew what was going on, right? And they stayed silent. They did not disrupt the comfort of their husbands in this whole ring that they've been doing these horrific things for all these many of years. All of these many of years. Just like back in the day for our ancestors. Like, it's so much that we can touch on this topic, right? And I know I don't have that much time, but I just wanted to give you an example of in real time today in 2026. But everyone who knew about these files that are being released, everyone who's accepted it all of these years, I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever, man, woman, you know about it and you don't speak about it. You're scared of disrupting discomfort because of what the outcome may be. Can you imagine if we had Esther's all up in this circle? It wouldn't be no circle. It wouldn't be no circle. We got to get back to the root of it, to God. Like, we got to restore him and his word in this country, especially now. Especially now. This is why the assignment is especially important now, because we can see the warfare that is going on. We can see, and his children are under attack. So we need to find the voice. And I'm doing my part by sharing it with y'all. We got marching orders. We got marching orders to disrupt discomfort and speak when we need to speak. Stand for what we need to stand for. Help the people so we can create, not even create, so we can pull them back into his circle. Because he need more of his people. He need more leaders, more. He need more. Tammy can't do it by herself. There's 80 million people in the world, quadrillion billion. No, I'm supposed to reach the people I'm supposed to reach. You reach the people you're supposed to reach. They reach the people. You see how the domino effect is? That's the domino effect. So don't be afraid to disrupt the discomfort, right? Don't move with hesitation. Don't move. We have to be productive, and you can't grow there. You can't grow. Your voice will always cost you. It's going to cost you familiarity before freedom, and understand that and know that. All right. So number 9. If y'all with me, say with me. If y'all feeling this, say feeling this, because I truly, wholeheartedly pray that this reaches to the right people that need to hear it. If you've been questioning in your mind, if you've been questioning in your spirit what to do, go pray on it, baby. Go fast. Go fast and say, God, help me find my voice. Use me to help me find my voice, right? Because yours may look different than Tammy, but I can only give you what he's given me. Number 9, you have to realize that it is bigger than you. Do you realize your mission is bigger than you? If you realize that, let me know. Put it in the chat. Yes, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. I love this song, Bigger, that's on the Lion King album. Just the message behind that. Like you got something great inside you, like your bloodline, your lineage. Whose child are you? Who is my father? I'm not talking about biologically. I mean, like he cool too. My daddy cool. But my father, who do I belong to? Baby, you think I'm a foe when he is my father? You think I'm a foe when he is my father? The moment you realize who you are, she's a bad man, Jimma. Because it's bigger than you. It is bigger than you. Your voice is not just for you. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to save people. You're assigned to people. And whether you like it or not, it is your responsibility. So you can keep operating in the mindset of, oh, they are not my family. I don't know them. Okay. I pray God has grace and mercy on you when you're in need of help and you come across a woman that can help and she says, oh, you ain't my family. Oh, you ain't I pray you meet the right child of God that will still help you anyway, despite your mindset, right? And I pray that changes how you feel and think about his children, not because you know them or because they're not your family. I pray that for you. When you use your voice, you give other people permission to use it too. It is bigger than you. Be the example. Number 10, you have to accept that whole line in Esther that I love. If I perish, I perish. If I perish, I perish. Now, what does Tammy Capri mean by this? I want to slow this down right here because I don't want you out here on suicide missions, and I don't know if I can say that word on here, but I don't want you out here on a mission to intentionally get yourself harmed or hurt. This is not what that is. But having that mentality, because that moment changed everything for her when she was finally ready to surrender. Like it was like a lamb in a bush moment. Right? If I perish, I perish. That was that moment. That was that surrender moment. That was that moment that Esther found her voice and got the courage and said, you know what? God, I trust you. Here we go. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage. I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage, y'all. Like literally that was her moment. That was her moment after the 3-day fast, without water, without food. She reaches that conclusion. And the verse is Esther 16, and the full verse is, I will go to the king, even though it's against the law. And if I perish, I perish. And she was ready. This wasn't a dramatic faith for her. This wasn't a reckless faith for her. This wasn't something that she was just didn't think through clearly. This was a resolved faith. This was her confirmation and her belief in God. If I perish, I perish. I'm not negotiating with obedience. I'm not waiting until it feels safe. And these are some things I need you to say. I'm not going to negotiate with obedience. I'm not going to wait until it feels safe. I'm not going to shrink to preserve my comfort. I'm not doing it. I'm not choosing survival over my assignment. If I perish, I perish. This is Esther moments where she showed true obedience that might cost her everything. And people love courage when it works out, right? We be scared through it, but we love it when it works out. And it make you look at yourself like, damn, that's a bad girl right there. I did that. I did that. You proud. You're proud of yourself and you want to share it to the world. And you want to speak about it. Real courageous is deciding to speak before you even know the outcome. Again, on that other side of the door, I don't know what's there. But I also know if I don't walk through it, I won't ever know what's there. And I won't ever know that, or not ever know, but I may be harming myself more by not walking through it. So if he says move, y'all, we got to move. He says move. And some examples that women stood for what they believed in. Breonna Taylor. Y'all remember Breonna Taylor? I hope y'all didn't forget Breonna Taylor. She was killed in her home, right? She stood for what she believed in, right? She spoke up about the system. Like she spoke up and she tried to, wait, who is calling me during the live? Lord, hope they didn't go out. Sorry. If y'all with me, say with me. It look like it's frozen. No. Okay, there we go. Sandra Bland is another one. Sandra Bland, right? If I perish, I perish. She fought that officer, not literally fought, but, she was defending herself because she knew that officer was wrong. And not just women, there's so many men, even in recent times with this ICE situation. So many people lost their lives fighting for what they believed in because they had a voice. They had a mission, and their mission was complete. If you enjoyed this live today, if this helped you in any way, if this was touching, if this made you think, drop that in the chat and let me know. I need y'all feedback, y'all. I told y'all, this is the first time I'm doing a month-long challenge. And I too need, that pouring into at times. And I get it from y'all. I promise you I get it from y'all, because if y'all let me know it's helpful, then I'll know the direction that I need to keep going. Outside of praying, outside of fasting. So I love all of y'all. Thank y'all. But I do want to leave y'all with some reflection questions. And I want you to think about this over the week until we meet again on Sunday. Well, we will have a midweek check-in. But over the week, I want you to think about this. And I really want you to go back and read, chapters 1 through 4 now, because next week we'll pick up at 5. But I really want to know, and don't rush these. You can write these down. Where have you been quiet because you were afraid of the cost, right? Think about that. What truth have you been holding back to protect your comfort? Think about that and journal about it. And even if you don't answer all of them, answer one. One may lead you to clarity, right? It may lead you somewhere else. And if you knew your voice could save someone else, what would you still stay silent? If you knew your voice could save someone else, would you still stay silent? If you knew you could make $1 million guaranteed in a month by starting a business, would you start it? Would you do the necessary things to start it? If you knew that $1 million was guaranteed, it's the same equivalence. If you knew your voice could save someone else, would you still be silent? I want you to think about those. Y'all. This is going to be so dope. The rest of we have so much coming up. We have our midweek check-in this Wednesday where we have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful guest that is joining me on the live stream, Miss Destiny McCoy. And we're going to get into more about Destiny, and y'all going to get to learn and love about Destiny. She has a mom community herself, and we're going to dig deeper into about finding your voice and hearing her story. And this is power and courageous in itself. And y'all can take after Destiny, learn from her. Make sure y'all tune in and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Make sure your notifications is on. If you need to go and hit notify me on next week's video, it's already up. Just hit notify me so that way you're notified when we go live next Sunday. And if you're not in the community of Mastery Mompreneur, my mentorship community for moms, you can claim your free 3-day trial right here. Click the link. I will put it in the link box. It's also all over my social media box, y'all. This is a new space for mompreneurs where we are learning his word. We're actively activating our moves. We're actively walking in boldness and in purpose. And we're actively doing the things that we need to do. You're going to learn so much more. The community is growing and is building, and I would love to have you if you have not done so already. Also, that book right there, Purpose Got Me Paid. You can also get your copy of Purpose Got Me Paid. All of the links are in the description box and or in the comments. Y'all, I am just so stoked, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear your feedback on all of the things that you're doing through this challenge. Make sure you stay tapped in with me on Instagram and social medias, and do your daily bold moves. Make sure you're doing your daily bold moves. But that's it for today, y'all. I love you all. Crowns on, chin up, and make sure you rock the rest of your week. Let's be bold and let's find our voice, y'all. Have a good one.